Manus Open MP Job Pomat elected Speaker of Parliament. Peter O'Neill re-elected Prime Minister. Gumine members delay proceedings in Parliament.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Wednesday's news. The opening of the 10th Parliament was delayed this morning after it became clear that two members representing Gumine electorate were in the House. PNG party member Lucas Dekena, who was declared on site, sat with the Alliance group, while PNC candidate Nick Kuman, who was declared in Port Moresby, sat with the Alatau-led coalition.
It came as a surprise at the first sitting for the 10th National Parliament when Gumine was occupied by two members in the chamber. PNG party's Dawa Lucas Dekena was sitting at the backbench with the Alliance, while People's National Congress, Nick Kuman with the PNC-led coalition. The proceedings could not get underway as Parliament officials tried to remove Dekena after the PNG Electoral Commission recognized Nick Kuman as the duly elected.
So now I recognize Nick Kuman as the duly elected member.
Dekena sat through the proceedings and took the oath for the declaration of office, but was not allowed to take part in the election of the Speaker and the Prime Minister. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
A national court order was granted to restrain both Gumine Open members-elect Lucas Dekena and Nick Kuman from participating in today's Parliament sitting. However, when Parliament sat today, former Gumine Open MP Nick Kuman was allowed to present his declaration form to the acting Speaker, Sesalamo Injia, while Lucas Dekena's was refused. The order made by Justice Colin McKyle minutes before the presentation of declaration forms was to prevent both members from representing Gumine Open in Parliament today. The court heard that Dekena declared MP on July the 28th by the returning officer John Yamba, while Kuman was declared in Port Moresby and his declaration acknowledged by the Electoral Commissioner. The matter has been adjourned to a later date to relook at the legality surrounding this matter. Member for Sinasana Yongumul Kerangakua disrupted the proceedings in Parliament just before the statement by the Clerk of Parliament acknowledging the elected members. Kua's point of order called on the clerk to adjourn Parliament. However, this caused more uproar.
Member-elect for Sinasini Yongumul Kerangakua rose when the Parliament clerk began to read the list of elected members whose writs were given to the Governor-General.
Mr. Clerk, listen to this. I have the floor. Ask those people to keep their quiet and at least they will learn something for once in their life. The first stranger, Mr. Couscous, Arimgot, the first stranger on this floor of Parliament is the purported member for Yalibo Pangia. He is the first stranger and he ought to be removed.
While the Alatau-led coalition cheered on with the names called, the Alliance did not stop objecting to the clerk.
Member for South Bougainville, Timothy Masu. Member for Aba Open. Member for Central Provincial, Robert Agarobe. That's not point of what I have to sit now.
The situation was later under control and the Chief Justice Solomon Injia presided over the election of the Speaker of Parliament. But that did not stop the Alliance demanding that the Parliament be adjourned.
Mr. Registrar, both of you don't direct the office of the judiciary. Sorry, no power. Come on, adjourn the Parliament now.
We've got two Gumine MPs on the floor.
We are not going to
Respect.
CLRC Secretary Dr. Eric Kua, who was on MTV live coverage of the 10th Parliament sitting, said that a point of order could not be made by Kerenga Kua due to them not being sworn in as members of Parliament.
As we have said all along this morning, it was a worrying period when the member for Sinisini Ombongol, Honorable Kerenga Kua, raised those very early points. Technically, they were not members yet, so really you could not raise points of orders. You couldn't raise points because there is no speaker. Now that the speaker has been elected, they can now raise those issues. Now that
Adelaide Sirok's Kari National, MTV News.
There was heavy police presence both inside and outside the premises of the National Parliament today. Almost the entire focus was on providing security for all members of Parliament and ensuring the newly appointed Parliament Speaker and Prime Minister were escorted to Government House for the swearing-in and back to the Parliament.
Police personnel from the Traffic Division set up a number of road checks at both the entrance of the front gate and the back gate of the National Parliament House. At around 9:30 a.m., members-elect from the PNC coalition team arrived at the Parliament House under heavy police escort. A similar police escort was conducted for those members-elect from the Kokopo camp. The entrance into the back gate of the National Parliament House was also closed off to minimize the number of vehicles and persons entering the Parliament House. Police provided escorts for the Speaker and the Prime Minister after they were nominated to the Government House, where they were sworn in, and later escorted them back to the Parliament House for the Prime Minister to give his speech. Tekla Gunga, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll have more stories after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National MTV News. We'll bring you stories from a Parliament session today a little bit later on. But first, we take a look at news from overseas. To an admission from the White House, President Donald Trump did in fact help his son, Don Jr. write that explanation on why he and several others with a Russian lawyer were at Trump Tower. The president's own attorney had earlier said that he had nothing to do with his son's statement.
From the White House, President Trump himself helped craft his son's first statement about that infamous Trump Tower meeting with the Russians, a statement that ultimately proved to be misleading. Don Jr. initially claimed that he and the Russian lawyer primarily discussed a program about the adoption of Russian children and that it was not a campaign issue. But the story did not hold up. Days later, emails revealed Don Jr. agreed to meet the Russians because he had been promised dirt on Hillary Clinton by the Russian government. The president's legal team went on the offensive, saying he had nothing to do with Don Jr.'s original statement.
The president did not draft the response. I do want to be clear that the president was not involved in the drafting of the statement and did not issue the statement. It came from Donald Trump Jr.
Today, we learned that's not true. Sources tell ABC News the president, in fact, crafted his son's statement himself, dictating it from Air Force One on the way back from the G20 summit in Germany. According to the Washington Post, President Trump blatantly ignored some in his circle who wanted that initial response to be truthful, more forthcoming. Today, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders admitted the president was indeed involved.
Certainly didn't dictate, but, like I said, he weighed in, offered suggestion like any father would do.
After that initial statement, the story kept changing. Don Jr. said he hadn't met with any other Russians.
So as far as you know, as far as this incident's concerned, this is all of it. This is everything. This is everything.
But it wasn't. We soon learned it wasn't just Don Jr., Jared Kushner, and Paul Manafort in that meeting with the Russian lawyer. The meeting, first described as just 5 people, ultimately had 8, including a Russian lobbyist and a businessman. President Trump now facing tough questions about whether he intentionally misled the American public.
Prince Philip will officially retire from royal duties tonight. Over 65 years, he's carried out 22,000 engagements. His last one will be with the Royal Marines, who he has invited to Buckingham Palace for his farewell.
For 70 years, the Queen and Prince Philip's support for each other has been unwavering. Their team effort began before their marriage in 1947. Prince Philip denounced his Greek and Danish heritage to become British. It was the start of a life dedicated to royal duties.
The Duke of Edinburgh's role in supporting the Queen has been crucial. I don't think anybody could do the job as long as she's done it without the support of someone that she loves and cares for and respects.
He is someone who doesn't take easily to compliments, but he has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years.
Philip served in World War II and by age 21 became one of the youngest first lieutenants in the Royal Navy. Over the years, he's worn many hats. The Duke of Edinburgh is patron, president or a member of nearly 800 organisations. He founded the prestigious Duke of Edinburgh Awards, and he's travelled the world extensively with 600 solo tours. In public life, Prince Philip is always one step behind the Queen.
In private, he ran the family. He ran the family side of things, and when there were real difficulties in the 1990s, he took a lead role. So without him, I think it would have been very difficult for her.
Like all families, we went through the full range of pleasures and tribulations of bringing up children. I'm naturally somewhat biased, but I think our children have done rather well under very different and difficult and demanding circumstances.
Maybe Philip's longevity is due to not taking royal life too seriously. The Prince is known for being cheeky and fun, but not all his jokes hit the mark.
Most of the time he's just joking. I think the most famous one was when he talked about the slitty-eyed Chinese when he was there. That didn't go down too well diplomatically. He called the Hungarians pot-bellied. And I think when he spoke to some Aborigines or indigenous people in Australia, he said, do you still chuck spears at each other? So, he's tactful.
Today, the Duke of Edinburgh will retire from royal duties and it'll be up to the younger royals, Princes William and Harry, to fill his spot. But it won't be goodbye forever.
He's just getting old and tired and he wants to pick the jobs he wants to do. He'll still be active, he'll still be doing the jobs on the royal official calendar, and I'm sure we'll see him again.
A new documentary where the late Princess Diana talks about her marriage is due to be shown on British television. But friends and family of the princess say airing the tapes would be a betrayal of her privacy.
Princess Diana could always dominate the media spotlight. And as the 20th anniversary of her death approaches, she's once again splashed all over Britain's front pages. Private photos have been made public, personal items have gone on display in palaces, and a string of Diana documentaries are being broadcast, including some featuring her sons.
We felt, incredibly loved, her and I, and I'm very grateful that love still feels there.
Royal reporters say this anniversary was always going to be a big deal because the two princes wanted to use the moment to pay tribute to their mum.
On a personal level as well, they've talked very recently about how difficult it has been for them to overcome their grief and to live with that, especially having played it out in the public eye.
In Cafe Diana, where the late princess occasionally ate, they're not surprised by the media storm.
I think she deserved the coverage, yes. A tribute for her and for her person.
But many question whether she'll ever be able to finally rest in peace.
What I don't particularly like is the focus on her previous romantic relationships. I think it gives people an impression maybe that she was a loose woman or anything like that, but I think her personal life is nobody else's business.
In 1992, Diana was ready to talk.
A candid series of old tapes is currently causing the most public controversy. They feature the princess describing intimate details of her failed marriage to Prince Charles during a private session with a voice coach.
Friends of the royal family are unhappy that the vision is going to be broadcast this weekend, and Princess Diana's brother has called for the show to be scrapped, but the programme's creators are refusing to back down.
They say the tapes are an important addition to the public record and claim they'll allow Princess Diana, even in death, to again speak her mind.
There's a new bus service in Sydney that has no driver. Launched at Olympic Park today, the service isn't expected to be on the Sydney's public roads as yet until trials are run successfully.
Ministers have been out today talking about the future of motoring, and they say
this is it. We're another step closer towards driverless cars with the announcement of a trial of this driverless shuttle. They'll spend the next few months trialling it around the Newington Armoury just near Sydney Olympic Park, ironing out the bugs and making sure it's safe and reliable.
People across our community can't believe that into the future we're going to have driverless cars. Well, here it is.
The government is so confident of this trial today being a success, they're claiming that children born today, by the time they're old enough, won't need to go for a driver's licence.
So this is a big game changer, but I think we have a way to go to convince the community that this is safe and this is appropriate and this is what is the best thing for road safety into the future.
Thousands of deaths on our roads caused by human error, drug driving, drink driving, speeding, that is all disappearing. This will be much safer. It's an exciting time. The benefits flow onto the broad community.
But it's still some time before we're likely to see this on public roads. They are hoping to do trials around Sydney Olympic Park for the public beginning early next year.
Back home, and the Electoral Commissioner Patilius Gamato has confirmed that former PNG Electoral Commissioner Sir Andrew Trawan has passed away after a long illness since retiring from the public service. We'll have more details as they become available. Now we take a look at the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.307 US, $0.3816 Australian dollars, $0.2563 euro, and 33.52 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, copper closed higher, gold is trading lower, coffee and cocoa closed the day lower. Palm oil is trading lower, while crude oil and copper closed the day lower as well. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed 72 points higher, the ASX closed 27 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 26 points lower. Here with National EMTV News, we'll have more stories from today's Parliament sitting coming up after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. To our top stories now, and Manus Open MP Job Pomat is the Speaker of the 10th National Parliament. Pomat polled 60 votes to Rabaul MP-elect Dr. Alan Marat's 46. Pomat was nominated by Kirina Goodenough MP Douglas Tumuriesa.
Honourable members, the next item of business is the election of the Speaker by exhaustive secret ballot.
After a heated debate by Sine Yangomul MP-elect Keranga Kua, formalities followed soon with the nomination and election of the Speaker of the 10th Parliament.
I take this honour and privilege to nominate the open member for Manus, Honourable Job Pomat, to be our nominee for the Speaker's chair.
The Manus MP-elect was nominated from the Alatau camp, while the Kokopo camp nominated Rabaul MP-elect Dr. Alan Marat.
Honourable Dr. Alan Marat, member for Rabaul, as our nominee for the Speaker.
After the distribution of a secret ballot, Manus MP-elect Job Pomat was declared as the Speaker of the 10th Parliament. Pomat polled 60 votes to Marat 46.
I now declare that the member for Manus, Honourable Job Pomat, has been elected as Speaker.
He was then taken to Government House for swearing in by Head of State Sir Bob Dadai. Jack Lopave Jr., National EMTV News.
Upon his return from Government House, the Speaker's first order of business was to preside over the election of the Prime Minister's post. PNC leader and member for Yalibu Pangia, Peter O'Neill, won the seat during a voting process that saw the Kokopo team refrain from voting.
Call upon the People's National Congress Party to nominate a candidate for the election as Prime Minister.
After the nomination of Peter O'Neill, the MPs were asked to vote by moving to their preferred side. O'Neill won by 60 votes. After his declaration as Prime Minister in Parliament, O'Neill made his way to Government House for his swearing in. Before he left, he said he was confident of retaining the seat.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, we had the numbers there all the time.
Feels to be back for another 5-year term.
As I said, a lot of hard work yet ahead of us. And listen, we've heard what the people have said in the elections. We've taken stock of it. and we will do every bit to do it better.
What would be your first order of business as Prime Minister?
Well, I'll have to appoint the ministers and structure a government that is going to deliver to the challenges that we have in PNG. As I said, it's not an easy country to manage. We have got quite a number of huge challenges, a growing population, an economy that is struggling at the present, but also many issues, including global issues. But we take it on board. Our people have said it loud and clear during the elections. The messages that are coming to government are very strong. They want a government to perform better, and their expectations are high.
And how will you be celebrating?
Quietly. I go home and have some sleep. After 3 months of a long campaign and a very determined effort by some of my opponents, we need a bit of break. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Following the confusion over the Gumine Open seat in Parliament today, Lucas Dekena says he was elected through a transparent process. Speaking today after the formation of government, Mr. Dekena said Kuman's victory is illegal.
We have a writ signed with by the dead person, and the Election Commission was prepared to accept that. And so this was how it happened, and I could not take my place to represent my people on the floor of Parliament. And this is injustice to my people, the people of Gumine, the people of Simbu, and every other Papua New Guineans who have faced the same similar problems.
You're watching National EMTV News. We go for a break now, and when we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. SPPNG Hunters coach Michael Marum has made some shocking changes to his lineup for this weekend's clash. He has included a whole new halves combination, relegating the Boas brothers to an extended bench.
The Boas brothers will probably rest in this weekend's clash against the Ipswich Jets. The Hunters face 1 draw and 1 loss after coming back from a bye. The new inexperienced halves combination will see Hello Weekman halfback William Morne debut in the number 7 jersey, while Kahuna Silas, who usually comes off the bench in the hooker position, will fill in the shoes of the 5'8". This is practically a new halves combination, with both players playing in those positions for the first time at Q Cup level. If the Hunters lose this weekend, they move down to second spot. The Hunters will take on the Ipswich Jets on Sunday, the 6th of August at the National Football Stadium. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
The Papua New Guinea Volleyball Federation is preparing for the National Volleyball Championships. The 43 Open Volleyball Championships will see the Under-21 and Open divisions competing against each other in the 2 venues of Port Moresby and Lae.
Morobe Province and the National Capital District will be the host of the PNG Volleyball Federation Championship. Morobe will be hosting the Open Championship on September 16 to 18th. President Kiladik says participating clubs must register and follow the Federation's rules and regulations.
The other is the affiliation fees. We have made an announcement that there will be one standard affiliation fee, which is 2,000 kina. And 2,000 kina will cover for both the National Open Championship and the Under-21 Championship.
The Under-21 Volleyball Championship will be held in Port Moresby from 21 to 24th.
In the tier system, we are advising all associations that there shall be 1 man and 1 women teams taking part for both the Open and the Under-21 Championship.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
To cricket, and former Australian Test fast bowler Jason Gillespie will be working closely with the Barramundis over the next 2 months in preparation for the team's meet with Scotland on home soil. He now has the task of preparing the Barras to meet a very tough opposition. Sitting second to Scotland on the points ladder, their upcoming meet will be a make or break for the Barras as they fight for the World Cricket League Championship title.
Scotland are coming here in early October, so
we're really excited about that. You know, players need to play more cricket. You know, the associate nations, and you know, this is a step in the right direction. So I'm really excited to be involved, and you know, I've been made to feel very welcome by all the players, which has been fantastic. And this week is more meet and greet and just observe the lads and how they go about their work. And you know, and hopefully when I next come back, leading into our tournament, and I can lend a hand and offer some advice.
Trukai Sports continues after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. PNG High Performance has partnered with James Cook University to help identify potential talent across Papua New Guinea. To help speed up the process, Kiran Skiberis, an honour student from JCU, will be working alongside the PNG Sports Foundation and PNG High Performance to help create the next generation of sporting icons.
Kiran will be working with the strength and conditioning staff of PNG Sports Foundation on a 2-year project. He will be testing the foundation's athletes before any travels around PNG and hosting open talent camps where 100 to 200 people could be tested. Kiran says much needed support will be provided where talent hotspots are identified in the country. He says with lots of untapped talents across PNG that hasn't been known in the past, but once identified they can be included into the talent pathway programs and hopefully upskill the talents to represent PNG in the future.
Yeah, so what we're doing here, I'm here as an honours research student from James Cook University, and we've partnered with High Performance Papua New Guinea as part of the PNG Sports Foundation. And what we're trying to do is identify which areas in Papua New Guinea, I guess, are ripe with athletic talent. So areas which haven't been touched before, as well as in the more mainstream areas of Port Moresby and Lae.
Director PNG High Performance, Aaron Alsop, says PNG High Performance is delighted to have Kiran in the country to help research and identify to scout potential sports reps of the future.
Knowing that there's a real sort of strategy linked to this research is important. And we're glad that we've got someone like Kiran on board here that's very passionate about what we can do with this information.
Already enjoying the first couple of months of his research project with PNG Sports Foundation's High Performance and Sports Medicine, Kiran is hoping his research will go a long way. He hopes to achieve PNG Sports Foundation's goal of making PNG one of the top 10 countries in the Commonwealth.
So at the moment we are just working with the students, but pretty soon we hope to extend that to working with national athletes as well as regional communities. So that'll be all-encompassing. Ideally, once we have all this data collected from our talent identification program, we'd be able to create a sort of talent hotspot map. So for example, if we were to test participants from Port Moresby, but their mother and father were from, say, Wewak, and they all tested really well in, say, aerobic endurance, we'd be able to send resources funding as per the Sports Foundation's wishes to really grow and develop sports that focus on those athletic attributes.
Godwin Eki, National, EMTV Sports.
To athletics now, and Papua New Guinea's Ephraim Lurkin and Relly Kaputin are now in London ahead of the IAAF World Championships this Friday. Lurkin earned his place by winning the 400-metre hurdles at the Oceania Championships and will compete in this event in 4 days' time, while Kaputin only learned 10 days ago that the IAAF had accepted her nomination to take part in the long jump event. And that ends Trukai Sports. We'll be back with the weather details for Thursday. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Cloudy with some rain expected for Port Moresby, mostly fine in Daru, a shower or two for Kerema, Alotau and Popondetta. To the Momase region, light showers expected in Lae and Wau, fine becoming cloudy for Madang and Wewak, fine although some showers expected later on for Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Kavian, you can expect some cloudy weather with rain, thundery rain expected in Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka, rain and showers for Kimbe. to the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg. All these major centres can expect showers over the next 24 hours with morning fog. I'll look at the forecast for small ships, but first there is a strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru, to Kiwai Island, to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point, to all Mill Bay Islands including Samurai Island, to Cape Vogel, Finschhafen, Vitias Strait, CSE Islands, Long Island, Medang, Bogia, to West New Britain and Bougainville. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point, Samurai Island, and with waters of West New Britain and Bougainville seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Island seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitias Strait, Dampier Strait, including CSE Islands to Long Island seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters of Long Island to Medang, Bogia, Wewak, Aitape, Vanimo, and the northern PNG Indonesian border seas 1.5 to 3 meters. And waters of Manus and its western group of islands and waters of East New Britain to New Ireland seas 1 to 1.5 meters. And I look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea sees moderate to rough with southeasterly winds at 20 to 34 knots. Solomon Sea sees moderate to rather rough with southeasterly winds at 20 to 25 knots. Bismarck Sea sees rough with southeasterly winds at 20 to 34 knots. And the Pacific Ocean sees slight with northeast to southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Before we end this bulletin, a few more stories from today's Parliament sitting. The Alliance Coalition called a media conference after the election of the Prime Minister this afternoon. Member-elect for Aitapelumi, Patrick Pruach, said the Alliance has heard the cry of the people. Unfortunately, it has not mustered the numbers to form government. Member for Sinisena Yongomul, Kerengakua, said theirs was not a lost cause because the government will have to justify every policy they want pushed through in this Parliament because the opposition will take them to task.
The 46-strong members of the Alliance Coalition called a media conference after the Prime Minister-elect left for the Government House to be declared. It was a bigger opposition-in-waiting group that was previously seen in recent parliaments. Also present was former Governor for East Sepik Province and Founding Father Grand Chief Sir Michael Samare. Mr. Pruach was first to speak, saying PNG can be proud that the opposition-in-waiting has some of the Guineans on their side. He said they will do their best to address the economic crisis being faced by the country.
I saw Papua New Guinea that you have a credible opposition who will take on the government. We will be focused on the policy front to ensure that they are on track in terms of how they manage the country.
Member for Vanimo Green, Beldanama, told especially the new members that he wants a show of commitment by members of the opposition. Member for Sinesine Yongomul, Kerengakua, was full of confidence.
We are already on the verge of changing this government, even though it's only a few hours old. Let's promise. We're not going to give them an easy ride. They'll have to justify every little policy issue or legislative issue or introduce in the floor of Parliament. It's going to be carefully vetted by us.
Leader of Pangu Party, Sam Basil, said they are looking forward to making positive changes for the betterment of the people of Papua New Guinea.
Today, Papua New Guinea can be assured that we have 46 voices in the Parliament who will stand up and fight for them and fight for what is right.
Deli Waigeno, National, EMTV News.
Elected Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and Speaker Manus MP Job Pomat were sworn in today at the State House by Governor-General Sir Bob Dadai. The Speaker was elected 46 to 60 and the Prime Minister also voted 46 to 60. The numbers in the Alliance and the PNC coalition staying firm. Both men were sworn in by the Governor-General and given them the powers to hold their respective offices.
Honorable Job Pomat, 60 votes. Honorable Alan Marat, 46 votes.
Now declare him that member of Yalibu Pangia, Honorable Peter O'Neill, Mimi Maki Mem Pinis now also Prime Minister-elect of independent state of Papua New Guinea.
Following the declaration of Peter O'Neill as Prime Minister for the 10th National Parliament, other elected members also relayed their congratulatory messages. They assured the Prime Minister they will work closely with the ruling government to continue with the delivery of services.
And Mr. Speaker, without much further ado, I, at this juncture, wish to take this opportunity to remind our Prime Minister that we are there to support him. He is surrounded by very able leaders, former Prime Ministers, former Deputy Prime Ministers, many experienced Cabinet Ministers. Together, we can plot the way forward for our country.
I also want to join my colleagues, party leaders, to congratulate the member for Yalibu Pangia, leader of the People's National Congress, and our Prime Minister, Honorable Peter O'Neill. It has not been easy to win election. In this election, there's been a lot of challenges, a lot of, words have been said, a lot of allegation has been said, a lot of lies too has been going to and fro.
It goes without saying, if the commanders themselves don't obey the law, how do you expect the soldiers to follow the law? We make laws and we must follow it. The spirit of the law is a recognition of the party with the greatest numbers, and Peter O'Neill got it. PPP came in to support the law, upholding the integrity of political parties and the organic law. And we make no mistake about it, and we're very proud of it.
Mr. Speaker, regardless of the outcome of this election, and regardless of where we sit on this floor of Parliament, our people's and our nation's interest must be our common goal. No government is ever perfect. No government delivers policies without challenges. In our last government, we admit that we could have done things better and we could have made more improvements. But, Mr. Speaker, we will continue to be a government that governs for all our people, all our citizens, not only for those who supported us.
And to end the news, MTV's coverage of the first meeting of the 10th National Parliament today reached a milestone. Online, we had our Your Vote 2017 Facebook page streaming live for those who could not access a television set. Papua New Guineans living abroad were able to get real updates online as far as Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Switzerland, and the United States, among others. There were over 47,000 viewers, and live streams had over 25,000 views live on Your Vote 2017 Facebook page. And thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this evening's National EMTV News. We'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Good night.